Guys, Grae here, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about the Bassmaster Classic. It's coming up here in a few weeks. It's going to be on Lake Roberts down in Texas. And I want to talk about this because last year I got to fish in my first Bassmaster Classic. In 2019, I won the Bass Open on Lake Oneida, which qualified me for the 2020 Classic on Lake Guntersville last year, where I ended up coming in 20th overall, made that day 3 cut, snuck in with that 25th place finish. Was able to move up the last day, but was hands down the best tournament I've ever been a part of. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about how Lake Grae Roberts is going to fish, what I expect from it. I've been doing a lot of research just out of curiosity how that place is going to set up and what it's going to do. So if you take a look at it, it's very similar to some other Texas reservoirs. Lake Fork comes into mind. It's got a lot of standing timber in it. It's got those offshore channel ledges. It's got hydrilla, milfoil. It's got a lot of bank grass. So it's got a little bit of everything that you want in a lake. So there's going to be a lot of different options when fishing this. You're going to have the guys that are up shallow, targeting that grass, trying to find those fish that are still up there that are either on a shad spawn or eating some bluegills up there. The tail end of the spawn might even still be happening. They might be able to find a couple leftover ones from that last full moon we had. So it's going to definitely play a lot of different ways. The question is, can you go up shallow and win doing it? And I truly don't believe you're going to be able to do that. I think you're going to have to get offshore, get on those long tapering points. You're going to have to look for those channel swings that can butt up to either a point or drop off out into a ledge. And you're going to have to do some deeper fishing. The guys that are going to be able to really take advantage of this are going to have that forward-facing sonar. I use that Lowrance Active Target. It's awesome. You see out in front of the boat, and if you guys watched last year at Lake Fork in the fall, Patrick Waters, he was using that forward-facing sonar, looking in the timber there, was able to pinpoint exactly where those fish were setting up and how they were setting up, so he could throw his jerkbait over there and get them to react and eat it as he was working it back. So that could be something that we see come into play there. So a little bit about Lake Grae Roberts, from what I've seen as well, is it's not that big. It's only like 30,000 acres. It's right outside of Dallas there. It's a little bit north. I have not personally seen that one, but I've seen Lake Louisville when I went to Lake Fork a couple different times when I was in college. So I'm just guessing it's going to set up very similar to those. I heard it has a decent amount of boat traffic, so it's going to be key for those guys on the first 2 days to really try to catch those bigger bags, really set yourself up for success, because on day 3 when you're fishing on during the weekend, that Sunday, actually even I guess day 2 on Saturday, how they do that, it could get a little bit tougher. So the fishing pressure is definitely going to play a role, but I think everybody's going to have a chance at winning this thing. So one thing about Lake Grae Roberts is it's in Texas, so you know it has big bass in it. I was doing a little bit of digging, just looking at some past results from there, and there's usually a bunch of 6 to 9 pounders weighed in. Occasionally you'll see some over 10, that double-digit mark that everybody so sorely wants to catch. But it seems like in June, a good bag is between 20 and 23 pounds. A lot of those team tournaments down there, it's taking 22, 23 pounds to win it. So that's strong. And then you actually look at the weights going down, and it is usually pretty good all the way down there. There'll be a bunch of bags right around that 20-pound mark, and then it'll go deep into the field, being 15, which is a 3-pound average, is pretty strong anywhere in the country you go. So especially for June. So it's interesting to see how that works. It'll be interesting to see what the guys fishing this classic can figure out and how many fish they're going to be able to catch. That's really going to bolster that number. So some people are saying they're going to catch a lot of fish. Some say it's not going to take not a lot of bites, but it's going to be big weight. So we'll see. It's Texas. I've been there a couple times, and Texas always shows out. I've caught 9.5 and 9.38 this year. I caught both of them at Rayburn. I've caught an 8 at Fork. So I haven't fished Texas a ton, but I know there's giants there. Some of my biggest ever have come from there. So I'm looking forward to following this one closely. All right, so I want to show you kind of how Lake Grae Roberts sets up here. This is on my Lowrance. This is the C-map. It's cool. It's got good shading. Lets you really pick out things offshore, really learn about it. Shows where the timber is in the water, creek channels and all that. So just kind of do a little overview of this place. You can see we'll start down here is the dam. You can tell it's just straight across there. There's a bunch of creeks that come in down at the base there. This is timber that'll be in the lake, so you gotta watch all that. It's really not that deep of a lake when you look at it. 61 foot is the deepest part of it there. I'm sure there's some sections that are a little deeper as you get towards the dam where we see 72, 78, but still relatively compared to a lot of lakes, not that deep. So some things that you're gonna wanna look for here, there's gonna be some, some like long tapering points like that. They're always good. Those fish will get offshore. You can see right here, you got some deep water that butts right up to the end of it. So if I was there, I'd be side scanning that, looking to see if you can find some stumps, rocks, whatever those fish might be setting up on. Because they'll be going from these spawning areas that are up in here, nice and flat, protected from that north wind. So those fish will just kind of work their way back out, get out there, starts eating those bait fish that are out there setting up. So that's something that kind of looks like a good area. You can see there's more of those like that coming out, long tapering point. Let's see what else we got that looks cool here. And notice there's a lot of ponds in this place. That's what this blue section is. There's a lot of little ponds here, there. I wonder if that could be something that could be a little sneaky. You find one of those that's just a little depression down in there, a little deeper than the water around the area, and could hold some good fish that way. To keep working your way up, I swear every lake has a lick creek, but they always seem to have fish in them. Right here, that's looks like a high percentage spot right there. That point comes out, super steep drop. You got that long tapering point there as well. Good spot for them to ambush some prey, get those bait fish piled up in there. So to keep heading up, you can see there's a couple more long points. You got some of that timber. That's where you can see that forward-facing sonar really taking shape and playing. If you get crazy, not even that. If there's a lot of bridges here, there's a nice pinch point. Look at that. There's a bridge that comes across. It'll push those fish right tight to there. It's kind of like how Guntersville does that same thing here and here. There's probably some good riprap there. You might even be able to get a shad spawn depending on how early they're going to let them launch and blast off there. Something to take a look for. You could also get going and head up this way, up Spring Creek, same bridge. If you could find one of these creeks, maybe it has a little bit of running water coming into it, a little bit cooler. From what I've read about the lake right now is that it's in that shad spawn temperature range. It's currently 74 or so. So that's where that shallow water could play as well. You can see coming out, you got those ledges that, see there, creek coming out, and then you'll meet the main river channel. So a lot of times those main river channels are very good too, if it's like a TVA sort of setup. So like I'll be idling that edge right there, trying to figure out where those fish are. That would guess they probably get out in that 20, 25 foot deep zone. So that's definitely worth taking a look at. We can keep working our way up here. What do we got there? Is that some submerged vegetation? It looks like they got out there. Let's keep heading up, see what else we got. It kind of flattens up. So you can see it's a big lake, but it's really not that large. Let's do something here. We'll measure it, see how far it is. Reset cursor. So from the dam up that right side, up to Hog Creek, that's only 12.5 miles. Granted, that has a lot of shoreline in there, but from there up the other arm on the left side there is, let's see, we got 9.2. So really, it's not that big of a lake compared to a lot of places you go. That'll help them break that lake down quicker. You'll be able to figure out exactly what's all going on. Those guys will basically have the choice of going shallow, going deep, figuring out what they can. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they do. We'll do another video here coming up right before the event gets started, maybe 3-4 days before it. And we'll do some picks to see who we think is going to win the Bassmaster Classic, maybe a little fantasy fishing. I know some of the guys personally, so it'd be kind of cool to get into that as well. So thank you for watching. If you could do me a huge favor, please subscribe. And if you want to win a favorite rod, I currently have a giveaway going on my Instagram page. So head over there. You can check it out. You just have to like Gray Buck Fishing, favorite rods. And I'm actually doing this with a buddy, Trent Cole. If you don't know him, used to play in the NFL. Played for the Eagles, the Colts, made the Pro Bowl a bunch of times. Awesome guy, great fisherman, good buddy of mine. We fish the Chesapeake every once in a while together. So check out that giveaway. And if you have any questions or comments, put them in the